Hi, Samson here. So I am back at it. The silence doesn't mean that I do not necessarily exist. A couple of things let me point out to pertaining the fact that I've not been able to do a book review up to the end of this month. Firstly, I've been tied up. I am running some stuff that is probably supposed to help me further my life. Moving on. Secondly, I've been keeping the faith. I've been reading books and whatnot. But the fact that doing a book review hasn't necessarily been so much allocated time to my apologies for that. But moving on, as you promised, one time every month we're going to be doing a book review, and I am keeping the faith. So one of the most recent books I think I've read is The Myths of Creativity, that is by David Burkus. So diving right into the introduction, what the book really is about is looking at the different myths that center around the fact that creativity is this and creativity is that. Let me point out, looking at the introduction here, Burkus says that from Greek mythology, creativity is actually something that is believed to have been stemmed from a deity or the gods had to inspire the fact that there was supposed to be some sort of creativity. It is the same again, I think, looking at religions such as Christianity and Islam, where creativity is something that is divine. But then in definition, according to Burkus, he says creativity is a process of developing ideas which are new and which are useful. So practically coming up with an idea that is new and an idea that is useful, then definitely you're someone who's going to be known as creative. All right, so diving into the myths I found in the book, interestingly, there are a couple of them, of which the first myth of creativity is the Eureka myth. Let me point out the fact that there was Archimedes, when he was trying to look at the density of an object, where he was doing this research and studies and whatnot, but then he wouldn't come up to a conclusion of saying, okay, for me to find the density of an object, I need to do this and that, until he went to a bathtub, up to the point where we recall that he went into a tub and then water was able to be displaced from there, and then it spewed off. Then he was happy and then went around running in the field or in the street, rather, saying, I have found, which is the Greek word for Eureka. So the myth centers around the fact that there is this idea that is just going to come up to you at one point in your life when you're really not focusing on the fact that you're doing something that is related to the thing that you have been doing research about. So that is the Eureka myth. The second myth that Burkus is discussing is the breed myth. So certain people believe that creativity is basically inbreeded in certain people, or a specific type of breed is the one that possesses creativity, but that is not so. So in order for you to be creative, I think Burkus points out from another person's research, rather, talking about you need to be open to new ideas and then expressions, and then you need to have extraversion, so to say. And then the other thing is you need agreeableness for you to have the creativity, because when you're open to new ideas, and definitely you're going to work around ideas which are going to be helpful and useful to you. The myth number 3 that Burkus points out to is the myth that is originality myth, believing that an idea which is genius or a creative idea comes from just this one person, but in the actual sense it is not so. Big corporations, big organizations have been built not only by a person's idea, regardless of him or her being the most heard, but ideas are not built like that, and that is where that myth centers around. Myth number 4 is the expert myth, believing that being in a field for quite a number of years is what is going to enhance the creativity, such that they are able to call upon you saying, okay, we need this, and we're stuck here and there. But novice is something that is very important as well. So it is not necessarily the experts who bring up the best and genius ideas, because in an evolving world, in a revolutionary world, definitely what we need are new minds. And then the myth number 5 is the incentive myth saying that unless there is a reward that I need, I'm not going to be able to think or brainstorm or idealize and then come up with this idea, looking at the fact that there is a motivation that is needed for that. But it is a myth, as well, which Burkus points out. The myth number 6, he calls it the loner creator myth, in relation to the originality myth, where you believe that, okay, when I just sit down alone and myself, I and myself, I'm going to come up with this great idea and I'm going to come up with this great product which is going to be that great. But in order for you to come up with something that is very big, idealization and brainstorming together as a team is something that is literally going to enhance the fact that you're going to pop up, move to an idea that is going to be of use to the whole corporation or organization. Number 7, the myth of brainstorming. So the myth of brainstorming focuses around the fact that you need a lot of brainstorming in order to come up with an idea that is going to be so creative and that is going to be used. Quite alright, brainstorming has an element to idealization, because a person's rate of creativity, according to Burkus and another person's research, it can be determined by looking at the fact that you are idealizing. So the more you idealize, the more we can determine your rate of creativity. That is where the brainstorming myth centers around. But an idea can easily come to you. All you need to do is to be in a state where you're able to incubate the idea. So the Eureka myth centers around the fact that you're able to incubate the idea and then it is going to be given birth to. Myth number 8 is the cohesion myth, where everything is just supposed to be in line with everything that you desire and what you think like it is supposed to be. But in the actual sense, some bit of conflict is what is playing a role in enhancing the fact that you're going to be stimulated mentally to have that creativity that is needed. And not everything is supposed to be smooth, but the conflict that comes in enhances creativity. Myth number 9 is a constraint myth, which is in relation to the cohesion myth. So a bit of conflict is something that is going to be useful. And then myth number 10 is the mousetrap myth, where it is believed that, okay, when a great product is built, people are going to definitely find a road that is leading to where you are. But in the actual sense, for you to be known out there, you definitely need a group of people who are going to work together with you and then idealize together and then come up with this great product that is supposed to be built. So from Greek mythology, inspiration that cometh as a result of creativity was inspired by deity. Therefore, it is important to understand that creativity is this process of developing and generating novel ideas which are useful. So for you to be called someone creative and for you to be an innovator, all we need from you is definitely your ideas, useful ideas, and then boom, definitely you're someone who's creative. Otherwise, all of us are creative. It just depends on what context you put it. And those were the 11 myths of creativity according to the myths of creativity by David Burkus. So till we meet in the next segment, and before checking out, I am running agribusiness. I'm an agribusiness consultant, so you want to get in touch concerning soil science, plant science, and I'm into poultry farming right now, and you want to make your orders, of course. Starting from the 6th of May 2023, I'll be supplying and supplying smoked chicken, dressed chickens, and undressed chickens, and you want to get in touch with the number on your screen. Till we meet in the next segment in May, probably. I am checking out.